Okay guys, we're going to get started. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. I don't like public speaking, so so if you don't know, we are an organization on campus called Students Organized for Syria. You guys are doing one of the three main programs that we have, which is a program called Students Teach for Syria, where we match USC students, any American university student to a Syrian student who wants to learn English or take an English placement exam. And most of our students are refugees. However, some of them are internally displaced within Syria, so they're living in Damascus. I've been tutoring a student for over a year now, and I've had a really great experience. I'm really excited for you guys to get started and meet your student. It's essentially, we have like a friendship model, so it's just like meeting somebody, forming a relationship with them, teaching them when you can, and it's more like kind of like peer-to-peer helping. So essentially we exist on campus to tell the Syrian narrative. Obviously this is the greatest refugee crisis since World War II, so the need is very high. And then Melissa's going to talk a little bit about our upcoming events.
Hey guys, I'm Melissa. So part of what we do is also we volunteer with some refugee population that's in El Cajon in San Diego. So a few of you guys have gone on our trips with us. And so we have 9 adopted families, and they're really great. We take them out. Well, we just started taking them out. We went to Chuck E. Cheese. We took the little ones. We took them to Disneyland, and we take them bowling. So like lately we've been kind of like getting to do more stuff with them. Originally what we started doing was providing donations for them. So if that was a couch, if that was like bed sheets, diapers, whatever they needed. We had these massive drives last semester. I don't know if you guys knew that was going on, but it all turned out really great. So now we have these 9 families we're focusing on, and part of what we're doing right now is like massive fundraising so that we can kind of bring in more revenue so we can help out these families. And some of the projects that we're going to be working on for pretty much just February are we're going to be doing a Krispy Kreme fundraiser. So that's just going to be from 10 to 2, led by Lynn and Rowan. There's also something called Meals for Syria that we are not directly running, but we are partnering with meals for them, and that's on February 3rd and 4th. We also have been...
Anyone's heard of it? We're still panning out the details as to what exactly we're going to do, but essentially it's going to be some sort of fundraiser, a joint kind of event between us and expats who help raise funds for the 9 families that we've sponsored, essentially.
And then we are also going to be giving out t-shirts again, with the Refugee Welcome logo on them, and we have stickers coming. And then we have some people that have signed up to help us out by like donating their time to do henna. We're just going to throw boba in while we're at it. But then our major next one is February 26th. That's going to be our next visit. We're not sure what we're going to be doing with them yet, but we know we are going to be bringing donations again, and we probably will be taking them out to do something. We have a ton of volunteers just kind of like shouting out ideas. So if you guys have any ideas as to like what you think would be a good idea to do with them, or you want to help out with any of these things, you can email us at uscstudentsforsyria@gmail.com. Which I'm pretty sure Lita's been emailing you guys from anyways. But yeah, that's kind of what we have going on. And but we may be adopting more families as we go, and we kind of jump in and do different projects as we're moving, depending on what the need is. So like a family has like, what was it? Like I think someone had like a rat infestation one time. We needed to like find money out of nowhere to help them out. So it's very, very grassroots. Like we will jump in and do whatever is needed. So one of the other things we have is we have a family, like Obeid family, and their dad was a baker in Syria. And so Lita has pretty much started a business for him, and she has found him some clients already. So we're doing like a Sweets for Syria thing. So they have like their own email address, and they'll email Lita, and people will do orders, and we have some orders coming in already. So they'll bake stuff, and then we have like a menu and everything. So if you guys know any events or anyone that needs catering, let us know. This is our sticker that we're going to be selling pretty soon, just to kind of promote SOS and just kind of get our name out there. And the funds, of course, 100% of the donations go to the refugees. And then this is our beautiful Krispy Kreme flyer that Elizabeth has designed. And pretty much it's just, we're going to be selling Krispy Kreme. We're trying to get local coffee places to donate coffee. It's going to be all donations based, so it's going to be free for people, but like, hey, throw a few dollars our way. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing right now. And that's pretty much it. Elizabeth is, no? Okay, never mind. Okay. So yeah, Lita's gonna.
Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, so just a little bit of background because we've been having interviews since beginning of winter break to like up until like yesterday, so it may have been a minute since you guys had a refresher about what we actually do. So the way that the program works, it's a 1 to 2 hour commitment. You're expected to meet with your student every week. If you have finals, midterms, projects, you name it, it's fine to miss a week, just you have to reschedule. So your student is promised a certain amount of sessions, and realistically speaking, you guys are essentially their only academic resource. A lot of them are in between school, a lot of them are trying to prep for exams. So they really rely on you, and it becomes like a friendship. Like, I'm very close with my student, and I know that she gets excited when we talk because it's just like someone new to talk to, someone from a different place, gives them a sense of like purpose and hope. So it's really important. That's all I ask from you guys, is that you're consistent. If you can't make it or you drop out midway, just let us know. There's so many people who are on waiting lists to be tutors. We're very selective with who we accept. And I have full faith in all of you guys, but let's just start off by being pretty honest with each other. So 1 to 2 hour week commitment, and most tutoring will be through Skype. If your student doesn't have Skype, there's WhatsApp, there's many apps. I'm sure that you guys are capable of figuring out a way to contact them. There's so many
Most of them
resources.
will have Skype.
Yeah, most of them have Skype. You can even do Facebook. Some people do WhatsApp. That's just calling though. Something to be mindful of, there's a 10-hour difference. So the majority of the students are aged anywhere from 16 to like 35. There's a huge gap because the war is entering its 7th year, and there's a lot of people who haven't been in school for a long time. So we accept everybody, basically, that applies and that has a certain language acquisition that we're looking for. So that's kind of like the demographic that we're working for. People who are college age, people who want to go to university, get their masters, things like that. So yeah, and then as far as schedules go, we're all very busy. The 10-hour time difference can actually be advantageous if you are very busy, because you could schedule it later at night or early in the morning or during the day, whenever you want to do that.
Kind of talk a little bit. So I mean, scheduling the appointments with your students is very flexible. It's between you and them at your own time. But the actual tutoring itself is very easy as well. It's very conversational. It's relaxed. They have access to reading material. A lot of them don't. But what they're really missing out is this face-to-face interaction with people that they could practice what they've learned with another person who actually speaks the English language. So in terms of the commitment, it's really not a lot from your side, but to them it's a huge impact on their lives. So.
Okay, so before we go into like how to teach English, I want to go over really quick, so we're just going to exit out of this. So I sent around a drive that's just for you guys, because everyone at the beginning is like, oh, I don't know how to teach English. Like, nobody really knows how to teach English until you know how to teach English, so it's fine if you don't know. I have created a drive, and I've broken down, I've made like guides for the main things like vocabulary, grammar, like speaking questions. Most of your students will be taking an exam. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the exam, but just to give you guys basic understanding, we kind of have like little guides for you. So, oh, this is the wrong one. That's writing. So this is the most common. So things to know about the exam. Things that are very important. Like Sammy said, we have a conversation-based learning model. So basically it's just you're asking, so when you do an interview, for example, or you're prepping for an exam, it's simply you ask very simple questions like, oh, where do you work? What are your hobbies? Have you guys ever taken a language course? It's very standard, those oral examinations where your professor is asking you about your routine, your hobbies, interests, or about news articles. Depending on where your student is in terms of their language, it's going to vary significantly, but we have these resources for you. Sorry, let me just scroll. And all of these things apply to whenever. So there's some important things that I feel shows that your student is kind of advanced in their English language learning. One is the use of transitions. That's very important, and that's very basic. So these little tools will change their score exponentially on these exams. Things like compare and contrast is very important. Using personal examples and stating opinions is very important. The way that I do it with my student, and we're going to have like workshops later on, but just to give you guys an idea, so if you do schedule your meeting soon enough and you have it, you know what to expect. So I started off by looking up questions from the IELTS exam, which we have for you in another folder. And the way that I do it is I'll ask my student a question, I'll write down what she says and what mistakes she makes, and then I will have her answer or ask me the question so that she could see what like a proper answer is like. Development is very important. So when you're talking, be very mindful. You're talking to somebody who doesn't know English as well as you, so please speak slowly, check for understanding, don't interrupt them, kind of like kills their confidence. I think language learning is more about confidence and actually vocab and all of that stuff, so it's very important that you guys are their support system. Like a friend, like you wouldn't be like, oh, like looks like that was horrible to your friend, right? You would be like, great job, like I'm so proud of you. So just, use that lingo. Yeah, so speak slowly and clearly, simplify your vocabulary, don't be obnoxious, pause frequently, check for understanding. Yeah, avoid sarcasm, it does not translate. It doesn't translate. Please don't be sarcastic. These are some sample questions depending on your student. So the way that it's going to work is your first meeting with them is going to be 30 minutes long. It's just like getting to know them. Oh, what's your name? What's your major? Like, what do you want to do? Why do you want to learn English? These are some sample questions, and we're going to send this out to you guys, so don't worry about taking notes. Yeah, these are just some examples. I personally never do this. I never say an interesting quote or fact because it's not, I'm very personable and I just like to talk, so obviously. So I would recommend that one, but anything else, anything, just like talking, that's all it is. You'll come to realize that because you know English, teaching English is not as hard as you think it might be. So have confidence in yourself. Okay. Yeah, session 1, so just get to know who your student is. We expect you guys to put in a little bit more time than 1 to 2 hours a week. Maybe spend 5 minutes. If your student, my student for example, she's really interested in the environment, she's really into like agriculture, so I have a tendency to, I have like Google alerts on like anything environmental, so I have talking points. There are a lot of, we're going to go into like cultural sensitivity soon, but there's some, because we're dealing with a very vulnerable population, refugees are by nature very vulnerable, there's a lot of things that you can't necessarily talk about, like number 1 is like do not ask about politics. Not only are you potentially endangering your student, but it's just, that's not what you're here for. So stick to the program. And another thing that they do is it's just like conversation-based learning. You'll see it as you guys you'll learn as you go kind of model. Yeah, just try to get to know them, figure out what they're interested in. Neutral topics are very important, so things like film, books, they love American TV, they read as much as we do, so just neutral things. Music is really good, food is great, yeah. Anything?
No, that's food, music.
Yeah, food, music, like just basic stuff. Sports. Yeah, these are just an example, like, oh, what do you do? What are your responsibilities? Do you like your job? Do you not like your job? There was a TOEFL professor who came in and she was talking about what she usually does, and she says that people really like to talk about things they don't like. So don't be shy. Talk about that. But don't go into too much detail. It's not really about you, it's about them. So let them explain what they like and what they don't like, what they're interested in, and you guys can kind of figure it out from there. Okay. Cultural sensitivity. Do you want to go?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. So we're gonna try to pair them with the same sex.
We're doing 100% like gender to gender. So no
Okay.
female students will get a male student and vice versa.
Yeah. And for the female students, you want to avoid asking questions about the hijab. It's a lot of, it's a lot for her to explain, and it's very difficult, especially to someone from a different culture and in a different language. And so you just want to avoid that unless she wants to start that conversation. Don't talk about relationships and sex and anything, that might be okay here, but it's definitely not over there. What do you mean don't talk about sexuality? Same thing, yeah?
Yeah, same thing. Like you have to gauge. So we're not going to say that all of our students are a certain way, but just be respectful. It's a very different culture, and this doesn't mean that you guys can never talk about this. As you get to know your student, you'll be like, okay, she's really like liberal and like open-minded, so I could talk to her about any of these things. But if your student's more shy and they don't feel comfortable with certain topics, just don't talk about it.
And we say don't talk about politics mostly because a lot of the Syrians, especially in Syria, are paranoid because of the fact that the government monitors what they do online. And so they're scared that they're being, heard or watched or seen what they're talking about. So that's why we just say avoid talking about politics, mainly because for their safety, Don't talk about religion, another cultural sensitivity issue. Just avoid it. There's a lot to talk about, like we said.
Yeah, they might ask you, if you don't feel comfortable, just be like, oh, I don't really want to talk about it. It's very common. Like when I went to Jordan, I was working with a lot of like Syrians, and they would always ask me. It's just like really common to talk about over there. But if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to talk about religion. Okay, any questions? I know that we covered a lot, and you guys are probably like, oh, I still don't know how to teach English, but you will learn. The number one important thing is with your first session is figure out what is your student's goal, because from there I can help you. So the SOS team is at your full, we're just here to help you. So if you have any questions, you have any problems, please, please, please email us. Like keep us in the loop, because we're not gonna just know like what's going on. And there's only like maybe 20 of you here, but in total we have 70 tutors. Not all of our students go to USC. We have people who are abroad and people who go to other universities. But we will do our best to get to you. So any questions at all? Yes?
So SOS is like a national organization, and like are there like different like similar clubs at like
Yeah, so they're national. We actually just got nonprofit status like a week ago, which we're really excited about. So if you guys want, you can donate and get that young tax, whatever, deductible. I'm an IR major. So, what was the question? Sorry.
It is national.
Yeah, it's not, okay, so we're a chapter. So there's many chapters.
But we are the only chapter that does the Teach for Syria program.
Yeah, and
right?
most chapters are focused on advocacy. We do more groundwork, like we work with like 9 to 12 families, we're in correspondence with them, we do we have a speaker come in once per semester, and then we do the tutoring program. So we're really grassroots. Yes?
You said that this was one of 3 programs you do?
Yes.
What were the other 2?
So this is one program. The other program is the refugee resettlement programs that we do. So we help, so for example, we started a catering program, or a catering business for one of the families. So that's one of the things that we do. We visit them, we take their kids places, because like some of the kids are so young that they're like 5, 6, 7, they've never seen a beach. They've never really traveled anywhere, or like they thought that Chuck E. Cheese was like the most cool like place ever. So that is like our goal, is to like show them, because it's very hard. Like, can you imagine coming to a country where you don't know the language, and then just like being there and unemployed? It's kind of depressing the first year. And these people just got here in November, October. So that is like my favorite program ever, because we are like really like getting to know them and like being their friends here. And helping them as much as possible.
So for example, it happens basically once every 2 weeks, where we go to San Diego and we see what they need, and we take them to do something nice at the same time. So a week ago we went to San Diego, we met up with the families. Before we took them bowling into Chuck E. Cheese, we sat with them and asked them, what do you guys need? And the kids are sitting there saying, well, I don't have a bag, I don't have a book, I don't have pencils, and I'm just starting to go to school. One of the kids doesn't have a phone. He's 20, he's not a kid. But, so we see what they need in terms of essentials, and we try to help them. And then we take them to bowling, and to them it's like going to Coachella, like it's crazy. So they have a great time at the same time, so, yeah.
And the third thing is just the like awareness portion, which is like we do like, this is the one time per semester a speaker comes in. So we'll have someone come in at some point.
And then while we all like applied for this program specifically, are we allowed to go on these trips?
Yeah,
and things like
please,
that?
I highly encourage. So this collage is supposed to inspire you guys, because these kids are, not only are they the most cute kids ever, like they're extremely friendly and they just love to like hang out with us. So if you want to hang out with any of these amazing kids, please, we need so much help. Like, I don't want to be delivering couches by myself. So if you guys want to come help, the need is like unprecedented. These people come with absolutely nothing. So the need is always very high. So please, please, when we put out the sign-up sheets, just sign up. We will find a way for you guys to get to San Diego.
That's not that far.
It's not that bad. Yes.
Is the first language always Arabic, or are there students with other first languages?
Always Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah. Answer your question?
Yeah, so where are you getting like all the stuff from? Is it just like donations and is it like here that you're picking it up or?
It's everywhere, from here to San Diego. We drive literally everywhere.
It's like source of the donations.
Yeah, the donations are just community members, USC students.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we get like money, we'll buy
Mostly
stuff.
USC students.
Yeah, mostly USC students. Yes.
Well, and after people shoot, sometimes there's like a lot of extra stuff where you don't know what to do
Oh
with the
yeah,
stuff.
we will
So,
take those if we need it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
I
keep
love
that in
like when
mind.
people donate stuff.
Also bikes, always bikes.
Yeah, if you guys don't want your bikes because you really like you're grown, you don't need a bike. If you want to give it to a refugee, let me know.
They need it as a source
Yeah,
of
they really need
transportation
it.
to
They
get a
have to
job
walk
or
like
go to
5
school.
miles to get to school, and it's depressing. So, and no, not to guilt you, but you know. Okay, any other questions? Okay, yes.
And the majority of your funding comes from just donations? you said?
It's from us posting on Facebook being like, please donate, or like posting a picture and being like, please donate.
Well, also we're trying to be, more creative and business savvy
Yeah.
and trying to make more merchandise and sell them and,
Yeah, now we're being more like
fundraisers and-
fundraising.
Because last semester, it was like so many Venmo donations. People were so awesome. Like they chip in like whatever they could, and that's where we got so much money. And then we'd have these big donors who would donate like huge amounts that were so helpful. But yeah, this semester, Truesdale actually, you can't fundraise and make money off after March 1st. So that's why we're doing all these like Truesdale fundraisers for now. And then once, like from there, we're gonna start partnering with other orgs and like figuring out how to do shit or stuff from there.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody? So, okay, so as far as assignments go, they're gonna come out tonight and tomorrow. If you don't get an assignment by Friday, please send us an email directly to let us know because there's so many new tutors that we have to coordinate and it's a lot of work. So we're gonna try as much as possible and then once you receive the email confirming who your student is, you have 3 days to contact them. We will follow up with the students so we will know if you did not do that. This is a very time-sensitive commitment. They've been waiting for months to get tutors. So please do that. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, great. That's all I have for you guys.
Oh,
Yes,
so the first contact will be through what?
email. So you're
Okay.
gonna send them an email being like, hi, my name is Jill.
Okay.
I'm your English tutor. Like,
Sometimes
would you-
what-
Yeah, just, when you get the email, you guys
Okay.
can figure it out.
All right.
We're gonna match you with a certain person, every person has a particular situation.
Okay, yes.
Is there a sign-in right now? or-
Yeah, it's over
Yeah,
here.
it was.
Oh.
Did anyone not sign in? Yes.
What's the age range of these?
16, they're not kids also. They're grown. They are 16 to like 30, 35. Yeah, there's a big age. We love to tutor moms.
We like to tutor them because they need it the most to get into college or take the TOEFL, the sustainability nonprofit that we're starting.
Yeah, we're trying to do smart.
Strategy, yeah.
Yes.
How did they sign up for / qualify for this program?
Okay, so we have like informal partnerships with NGOs that help Syrian refugees specifically, and I personally have I ask our previous students for references, so anyone that they refer us, sorry, my voice keeps cracking, we take them in. So they usually find out about our program through social media, we do an interview process, and we screen our students to ensure that they're serious, because a lot of people will apply, but then they just wanna talk.
What NGOs do you work with?
There's one NGO called Syria Cross Borders, another one called Small Projects Istanbul. Those are the two main ones. So one is in Jordan and one is in Turkey.
We're not doing paper airplane.
No, we're not. Cool. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming. If you have any questions, please send us an email. Yeah, so really appreciate you guys coming today. Thank you.